Welcome to the Smart Marketers Academy, where we help you to build your business smart, get more clients, and make more profits. I'm Davida Yemi Akanle. I'm the founder and CEO of the Smart Marketers Academy, and on this program we'll be looking at how to find a profitable niche for your business, and this is Module 1. So let's have a quick look at the course's objectives. By the end of this session, you'll be able to identify a few key factors that would help you choose a profitable niche for your business. So what is a niche? Your niche is what you do as a business person. So it answers the question, what do you do? So when people come up to me and I say, and they ask me, oh, Davida, what do you do? I could say, well, I'm a small business marketing coach. So when people come up to you, what would you have to say to them? So basically your niche is the area that you specialize in, the area that you focus on. So an example of this is health and wellness coaching. So that is an area, it's a wide area, because assuming that, for instance, if you look at my situation, I might say I'm a business coach, but that is a bit wide. So I can narrow it down and say I'm not just a business coach, but I'm a small business marketing coach. So I've narrowed that down a bit more. So a sub niche is what you do when you take that big niche and you chop it up into pieces, you narrow it down and focus it on a specific area. So let's look at this. Let's look at some subsections of the health and wellness coaching niche. So you might decide to focus your business on natural living. And within that, you might say, yes, I'm going to focus it further and I'll be looking at healthy recipes. So I'll be providing healthy recipes to people. Or you might say, I'm going to be focusing on natural living, but then I'm focusing on the vegan diet subsection. Now, under the health and wellness coaching, another sub-niche is stress therapy. It could be diabetic coaching, self-esteem building. As you can see, these are varied areas. They all make up the health and wellness coaching niche. So you can imagine if a person decides to take on the whole of the health and wellness coaching niche, that is a big area to conquer. So it's easier to achieve success if you further focus your business, if you focus on a sub niche or a micro niche. So, like I said, diabetic coaching, self-esteem building are other sub-niches within the health and wellness coaching area. Eczema treatment, as you could see, that's another one. You could see that there's so many people with skin problems, especially eczema, and if you decide to focus on that, that might be a niche that has enough people wanting that solution. And if it has enough people wanting that solution, that means it might be able to support you as a business owner. Pregnancy nutrition is another area. It's very focused, and it's an area that a few people might want to look into. So basically, when you start niching your business, what you're doing is you're becoming a specialist. We see that in the medical field. We see it in, let's say, lawyers. They specialize. You see maybe an immigration lawyer or a family lawyer. They specialize. They don't just say, I'm a lawyer. They decide to specialize on specific areas, even though some decide to stay general. For instance, if we look at the medical field, we've got general practitioners. We could have doctors who are just general practitioners. Or you may have people who are gynecologists or other, they might decide to specialize in other areas of medicine. So when it comes to building your expert business as a coach, trainer, consultant, you could be a mentor, a leader, you would need to decide on what your niche is, and within that you might decide on focusing on certain sub niches. You can take a couple or three of them and bring them together and niche like that, or you might just want to focus on one sub niche. It's up to you. You need to do your research to make sure that there's enough people in that niche to support your business, enough people wanting what you're going to be offering. Now, we've looked at your niche, and now we're going a step further. And now we're looking at your niche market. we'll be looking at your niche market in more detail as we look at the program, how to choose a profitable niche market. So you need to select a profitable niche, because your niche is part of the foundation of your business. If the foundation isn't profitable, then you can't guarantee that you'll be making money from that particular niche. So you need to make sure that your foundation is profitable. So part of your foundation is your niche and your niche market. So what is your niche market? Your niche market is your target market. So for instance, if you're in the health and wellness niche, if you've chosen that niche, you've decided that that's what you're going to do. Who are you going to do it for? So that is your target market or your niche market. The people who you're going to do business with, the people who you're choosing to serve, the people who you're choosing to work with. So an example could be professional women, men over 40, or university graduates. So these are typical examples of target markets, but you can even go further. Maybe professional women who have young children. You can further subdivide. You can actually be more specific as you begin to look at your target market. So let's look at another example of niching. So we're looking at leadership coaching. Let's assume that that's your niche. So sub niches could include team performance. So you might say, I'm a leadership coach, but my expertise is team performance. It could be time management. It could be strategy coaching. So think of different areas where you have expertise in. It could be maybe prior experience in your workplace, or maybe a desire, some area that you want to go into, and you can specialize in that area, and that makes you could also make you unique in the marketplace. So your niche has to do with the problem that you solve. Your niche has to do with the problem that you solve. So remember the example that we gave in the health and wellness niche subsection of eczema. So let's say eczema, you're deciding to focus your business on providing solutions that would help people get rid of their eczema. So basically, your niche is the solution that you provide. So the client your ideal clients have a problem, and you're providing your solution, and that is your niche. So your niche has to do with the problem that you solve and not the people that you help. So an example, for instance, if you're going to be talking about what you do, you could say, I help them. It could be women over 40, or could be university graduates. You could say, I help them solve challenging marital problems. I help them to save their marriages. I provide them with natural remedies to lower their blood pressure. So that's what your niche is. You provide natural remedies, but what does the natural remedies do? What do? They help to lower the blood pressure of your target market or your ideal client. You can help them overcome panic and anxiety. For instance, if you're into the mental health arena, mental health or emotional health arena, you help them to get more clients and make more profits. And that's what I do as a business marketing coach. So why is picking a niche important? Your niche, like I said earlier, is foundational to your business. Everything you do in your business is going to be based and influenced by it. So there is a big problem if you don't have a niche. You spread yourself too thin. What niching does, it helps you focus. So it helps you become a specialist. So if you don't focus and you spread yourself too thin, you become a jack of all trades and you don't become an expert at anything. And when you do that, people can't really put a finger on what you do or who you help, or you become bland, and you kind of merge into the general scheme of things. As you also know that the power of a laser is in its focus. So the more focused you are with what you do, the clearer you are about what you do, and the more focused you are about it, what you find is that the marketplace is also clear. They become clear about what you do, and it also helps you to stand out. Now, when you do not niche, you do not have any real appeal. Like I said, you could be very bland. You appeal to no one specifically. You struggle to get clients because your marketing will be unfocused. You won't know. You'll just market to anyone. You could market to men, maybe to women, maybe to university graduates. You'll just be trying to reach everyone. And when you try to reach everyone, you really reach no one. So it takes a lot longer for you to make money because you have spread yourself too wide. Imagine just focusing on a particular area. You would be able to develop your products for that particular area. You'll be able to nurture. Because, for instance, when you start reaching people, when you start building your mailing list, when you start reaching people in that particular niche, what you'd find is that you need to speak to them in the same way. If you don't have a focus, it will be difficult to communicate with the people who you have decided to serve. And then, when you're thinking of products, it just takes very long because you might build a product for this area and a product for something else, and everything is all over the place. So it's always better that even if you decide to work in different niches, just to decide to focus on one area first, conquer that area first before moving to the next. So basically, if you do not have a focus, it lengthens the time that it takes for you to get money. Yeah. So one thing you want to do when you're just starting out is to get money coming in quite quickly, because if you don't do that, you'll be under a lot of pressure and a lot of things drag out, and then you become confused, maybe disorientated, and a lot of things set in. So you want to make sure, because if you choose a more specific niche, then what you find is that you're able to do things quickly, you're able to provide services quickly, you're able to think of ideas quickly. You don't have several ideas fighting in your mind. You don't know which way to go. A person who is confused is divided, and when you're divided, you do nothing. So when you haven't chosen a specific niche, you struggle to make decisions because there's a lack of congruence. Things are not adding up. Maybe one thing is not building up on the other. So you're building here, you've laid a foundation here, so you're laying another foundation there. The time that you should be using to build upon the first foundation, you're spending that time digging another foundation. So it does keep you unfocused, and when you're that unfocused, what you find is you go nowhere, and you'd be trying to kill the same bird with many stones. When you don't niche, another thing that you'd find is that most of the time you might have several problems because you've decided to focus on more than one area. So let's say you've decided to go for the vegan diet, and then you want the natural diet. Sometimes it's just so difficult to begin to develop products or to serve the same people, because if they're related, it's fine, but if it's not related, if those areas are not related, it becomes a big problem, because you want one solution. Like, for instance, you're writing an article and you want the article to address both people. It will be very, very difficult to do that. So basically what it does is it keeps you in this loop where your decisions are delayed. You're trying to make a decision, but you're stuck. So when you're not focused with your niche, what happens is you get stuck, and that's not where you want to be. And if you're stuck at this very point, that might be one of the reasons why. And when you're stuck, and everything that I've described is happening to you, what it does is it leads to frustrations and multiplies the confusion. Okay. So finding your niche is one of the most important steps that you need to take when setting up a business. For instance, when I go to networking meetings, when I go out to talk, when I meet people, they ask me what I do. I'm able to give a clear statement about what I do. So when you know what your niche is, when you know exactly what you do, you'd be able to communicate that clearly. The message goes out and you're able to attract people to you because they have a clear picture about what you do. I've been to meetings when I've asked people what they did, and it was all so fuzzy, very confusing. You don't want that to be you. So once you find a niche, it's worth your while sticking with it. Stick with it, work with it. Most of the time people start with one niche, then they move to another. Well, it's okay to make changes if it's required, if it's necessary, but you need to stick with something for long enough. So if you've done all the primary research before deciding on a niche, then stick with it. If you haven't done your research, I'd say go back to the drawing board, do your research. Then because once you've done the research, you know the figures. For instance, there's a tool that I use for my research. I research how many people are searching for a particular service online before I decide to go into that market. I want to make sure that there are enough people seeking for that particular service before I decide to build my business on it. So while I'm building my business, I have that information in the background of my mind. So I know that, okay, I might not be seeing results now, but the research, results of my research has shown that there are enough people, or there are people looking for that particular service that I'm providing. So that gives you the power to stick with what you've decided to do. So my suggestion would be that you focus on doing one thing really well. Get to do one thing and do it really well. So I've come to the end of this the first part of this module, or the first part of this program. If you'd like to know more about our programs, please visit us at www.thesmartmarketersacademy.com, and I look forward to seeing you on module 2.